My name is Vahrik, battle-scribe of the Threxan Vanguard, veteran of 14 campaigns, and a witness the things the galaxy still refuses to believe. But nothing prepared me for the day I fought beside humans. The war against the Aeon Ascendancy had already consumed 3 sectors. Entire moons were carved open and drained, stars flickered. Unnaturally, the Ascendancy didn't merely conquer, they rewrote reality where they walked. Their command cast shimmering beings of quantum-anchored flesh were treated by most civilizations as lesser gods. We had fought them for decades and lost every time. So, when the humans arrived with their ragtag coalition fleet, half-repurposed mining craft, half-war relics, I remember thinking, this species is already extinct. They just don't know it yet, but they didn't look afraid. Humans rarely do. When our fleet reached the shattered world of Kiro 4, we expected another massacre. The Ascendancy's Obelisks had landed across the surface like black fangs. Their reality distortion fields were pulsing hard enough to make my bones itch just observing the holofeed. The explosion of the Obelisk gate should have ended us. The shockwave tore across the desert, shredding dunes into dust clouds and hurling armored soldiers like toast. Ascendant constructs fractured, dissolving into ribbons of impossible geometry. Even the sky flickered, momentarily showing stars where they should have been. I remember flying backward, my armor alarm shrieking, my vision pixelated, my limbs felt unthreaded. But through the roaring chaos, I heard something impossible, human laughter, not forced, not manic, joyful. When my vision steadied, I saw them rising to their feet, bruised, bleeding, coughing, but grinning like they'd just completed a training drill. Commander Briggs limped past me, brushing sand off her shoulder. Whew, that one's gonna leave a mark. A mark. I sputtered. We could have died. She just shrugged. We also didn't. And now the Ascendants are really pissed. She actually sounded excited. Humans, they continue to mystify me, but the battle wasn't over. Destroying the Obelisk gate had only cut off one of the Ascendants' anchors on Kiro 4. In retaliation, the remaining obelisks flared like inverted suns. A deep vibration rolled across the landscape, a harmonic pulse that made my carapace ache. Sand began to levitate, the world bent, even sound warped into strange, metallic echoes. The Ascendants were preparing a planetary overwrite. If they succeeded, Kiro 4 would be erased, rewritten in their image. Nothing organic would survive, not even humans. Briggs slapped a new power pack into her rifle. All right, listen up. We pissed them off enough that they're calling in their overseer. Big boys arriving in about. Before she could finish, the sky tore open. A fissure of pure white light spread like a wound. From it descended a shape. No, not a shape. A presence. A being of flowing logic patterns and shimmering metal skin, as tall as a dropship. A high-tier Ascendant overseer. My instincts screamed at me to kneel. My ancestors would have. But the humans? The humans just squinted at it like they were judging a new piece of gym equipment. One soldier muttered, "Looks like a toaster someone spilled God on." The overseer's voice boomed not through the air, but straight into our skulls. You are outside parameters. Yield. You cannot exist in the new reality. Humans exchanged glances. Briggs cupped her hands and yelled into the sky, "If we can exist in IT, it's a stupid reality." Then she pointed her rifle and shouted, "Open fire." The world exploded into noise. I wish I could say the humans fought with strategy, that they used formations or precision. They didn't. They charged straight at a god. The overseer unleashed rippling waves of spatial shear. The sand behind us liquefied. A beam of structured probability tore past us, turning 3 soldiers into static. But the humans kept running. I saw one soldier, Private Rowe, get caught in a gravity spike. Instead of being crushed, he twisted his body midair, redirected the momentum, and launched himself off the invisible field like a springboard. He shouted, "Parkour!" While flying toward a godlike being, he actually landed on the overseer's face. The overseer, confused, flailed. Humans, I realized, excel at one thing above all others: introducing chaos where none should exist. Briggs yelled, "Vahrik," with me, and ordered us toward a ridge overlooking the battlefield. The overseer runs everything within a 50-click radius. We take it down. The lesser constructs collapse. How? I asked, with something your people don't have: courage. No. She handed me a pack of explosives the size of a child. Poor impulse control. We sprinted along the ridge as the overseer lashed the ground with space-staring blades. Humans dodged them by inches, sliding under gravity distortions and leaping over quantum fissures. Improvising movements no simulation could predict. The overseer roared inside our minds. "WHY do you not break? Why do you not yield?" And Briggs, panting beside me, replied aloud, "Because we don't like bullies." We reached a shattered tower, close enough for what she planned. She primed the charge. "Vahrik," she said, "I need a distraction." "What sort of distraction?" She pointed at the battlefield. "Something so stupid it might work." Humans were already providing that in abundance, but I stepped forward anyway. I leapt from the tower, landing hard enough to crack the ground. The overseer swiveled toward me, momentarily baffled that a non-human was rushing it. It raised a blade of pure angular momentum, and then humans seized the moment. Rose, still clinging to the overseer's head, wrapped a cable around one of its sensory nodes and screamed, "Yeehaw!" The overseer jerked. That was enough. Briggs hurled the charge. It lodged between the overseer's shifting plates. She hit the detonator. Light swallowed the world. When I could see again, the overseer was collapsing, its body unraveling into fractal clouds. Human soldiers whooped and high-fived despite the carnage around them. Briggs looked at me, dust-caked and smiling. "See, Vahrik," she said, "gods fall, same as anything else." I stared at the battlefield, at one god dead, and mortals standing triumphant. For the first time, I understood. Humans didn't fear gods, gods feared humans. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more. When the overseer fell, we thought we'd won. The overseer was the brain, the central node for every ascendant construct on the battlefield. We expected them to just stop. Instead, something else happened, something the humans, against all logic, were hoping for. As the overseer's body collapsed into itself, the sky started to crack like glass. Thin, glowing lines spread across the horizon. My commander, a human named Briggs, just wiped some blood from her lip and muttered, "Oh, good, they're escalating. Good." A literal god machine had just died, and reality itself was glitching. But the humans acted like someone just brought out cake at a party. The lines in the sky converged, and with a sound like a choir of shattering mirrors, a colossal structure descended, a floating monolith of translucent stone, covered in 1,000 glowing, incomprehensible symbols, a prime ascendant obelisk. The pressure alone felt like a planet was leaning on my chest. I couldn't breathe. And the humans? They were shielding their eyes like it was a fireworks show. One of them whispered, "This is gonna be sick." A ripple of energy shot out from the monolith. The ground around us started to twist. Gravity pulsed, inverting itself. One of my squad mates shot upward, screaming, until a human sniper, with impossible strength, grabbed his leg midair and anchored them both to the ground. Humans don't fly, but they have a stubborn refusal to let anyone else fly either. "Stay grounded," Briggs yelled. "Spread anchors." Her soldiers hammered these strange staffs into the ground, and a wave of counterforce steadied the air. "How did you know this would happen?" I asked her. She just shrugged. "Every time we punch someone too hard, a bigger someone shows up. It's a pattern." I stared at her. "And you want that?" She grinned. "Of course. Means we're doing something right." That's when it hit me. Humans had weaponized stubbornness. The obelisk opened like a stone flower, and from inside stepped beings of pure, refracted light, prime ascendants, higher than overseers, higher than anything we had ever fought and survived. Their voices tore through the air like blades. "You oppose the ascension. You reject perfection, you will be corrected. Then they raised their hands, and the humans raised their rifles. One prime flicked its hand, and 50 meters of terrain just vanished, erased from existence. The humans flinched for a second. Then they charged. I screamed, "They can erase you with a gesture," a soldier yelled back. "Then don't let them gesture. That was their plan." That was actually the plan. A prime swung its arm, releasing a wave of spatial distortion. A human soldier slid under it, threw a grenade, and screamed, "No refunds." The grenade exploded in a shimmering dust, a human invention called null metal, and the prime's light form flickered like a broken hologram. Another human, a giant of a woman named Farah, charged the prime head-on with a gravity hammer. The prime hit her with a blast of force that should have crushed her flat. Her armor cracked. She didn't stop. She just roared and pushed back. Briggs pointed to the floating monolith. "Vahrik. That's the hub. We destroy it. They lose coherence." "How?" I yelled. She gave me that unhinged human smile. With the dumbest possible plan, we sprinted towards it. A prime saw us and hurled a lance of collapsing space right at Briggs. She didn't dodge. She ran faster, straight at it, and used the distortion to launch herself into the air. Humans see reality-breaking physics not as a hazard, but as a trampoline. As she flew, she tossed me a pack of explosives. "You won't survive this," I told her. She winked at me mid-air. "Then catch me when I fall." She landed on the monolith, planted her charges, and screamed now. I threw my pack. It stuck. Briggs hit the detonator. The monolith screamed. The world convulsed. The primes staggered, their bodies tearing apart, and as the humans roared in triumph, I looked at the laughing, half-broken commander who had just gambled with civilization itself. And I finally understood their true power wasn't strength or technology. It was refusal to kneel, refusal to break, and refusal to ever stop. The gods feared humans because humans refused to be anything less than defiant in the face of the impossible.